we spent 50 years waiting for someone to help save our planet. Now, I say 50 years because that's when the research, limits to growth, was exposed, and ultimately our politicians, our leadership, our presidents, have not done anything to help stop or slow the collapse of growth. And what I realized really this year is that ultimately, if we're going to save the planet, you and I are going to have to do it. And the good news is I've spent the last 4 years developing a framework called the FOUNDUP. The FOUNDUP are ideas for saving our planet, launched. They're validated, they're funded by the people for the people. And ultimately, I want you to launch a FOUNDUP. I've launched a bunch and are launching more. And ultimately, by launching FOUNDUPs, we solve small problems. Maybe like, creating a habitat for bees, right, in this region here along this riverbank, or a food force for kids or elementary school students. That's going to help save our bees. But that doesn't go far enough because we ultimately need to transform our agriculture from a pesticide-using one to one that is more of a permanent culture one, called permaculture, that is sustainable. And the only way to do that is for us to basically be able to leverage and buy land like this. Wouldn't it be great for me to come in here and say, you know what, we're going to buy all this land for the people, and you can own it, you can have it forever, for as long as your family, you'll manage it, but we're going to own it, provide, and we're going to pay you money for it, okay? But you're still going to work it and everything else, and you're going to, share in the profits and everything else, but you're not going to use pesticides, okay? So nothing's going to change except for you're not going to use pesticides. And we do that what? By leveraging money, by leveraging funds. Imagine if every house in your neighborhood had solar panels on it. And we could go to those homes and say, listen, it's your home. We want to use your roof. And all of that, we're going to discount your utility bill. But we're going to put solar panels on every one of the homes in America and every one of the homes in Japan. Every power line, every cell phone tower, power line that goes up, cell phone tower is going to have solar panels on it. We're going to solar panel the world, and we're going to give the power away for free to the people. Why should we pay for power? Why should there be cars still driving around the world with gas? We know petroleum is destroying our planet. Why? Why don't we give everyone an electric car? The simple fact is we can. We can. And how do we do that? Well, it's simple. Imagine if every startup, every idea, every business was a found-up and not a startup. See, a startup is really interested in a few investors, a few stakeholders that seed it and put the billions or the millions or whatever it is to get it going. It's really only a few people, a couple hundred at most, right? Whereas a found-up is for the people, by the people. Imagine if you could just make a small $2 a month contribution. Now imagine 1,000 people. Imagine 1 million people. We have more money collectively, right? The many of us, the 99%, than the 1%. The simple fact is, we're not using that money correctly. And we are basically conned by businesses, by very clever marketers to buy that soda or buy that beer or that coffee or whatever. But what I want to ask you instead is put that $2 into a vision of saving our planet by launching ideas that does so and that reinvests, and this is the crucial part of the FOUNDUP, it is mandated to reinvest 80% of the net profits launching more ideas. more FOUNDUPS, that are mandated to reinvest 80% of the net profits in launching more FOUNDUPS, that are mandated, and so on and so on and so on. So basically, we can easily have the capital for me to come in and say, listen, I'm sorry, no more pesticides here. We want to buy this land from you, all right? We want to turn the entire region of Japan as pesticide free. And we'll do the same thing for America, or maybe for your province, or for your area. But the way we do this is I need your $2. I need your $2 because no venture capitalist, no accredited investor who basically is eating the cake right now is going to fund my idea that's going to end their party. It's simple as that. It's not in their interest to do so. So I'm reaching out to you as an individual to sacrifice a coffee every other month, to sacrifice a beer every other month, and stop putting your hopes in politicians, in governments, in corporations, and put your hopes in the FOUNDUP, in me, in saving the planet. Because I know I can if you will invest that $2 in doing so. Now, here is a gift that I offer you. The company behind FOUNDUPS, right, I own and hold the IP for FOUNDUPS, okay? But the company that I've set up, FOUNDUPS Corp, is the one that I'm going to use to manage it, right, and run it. It's a Delaware C corporation. And for every $2 that is gifted to me, or contributed to me, I'm going to gift 200 shares per month in my corporation. These are undilutable to 10,000 shares. Also, their currently value is a penny. So imagine now that we become a Google by 2020. A dollar invested, contributed to FOUNDUPS today would return 1.65 million if we become a Google by 2020. That's going through 30 dilutions, which means that $1, which was 100 shares, becomes 3,000 shares, right? And at a price of $550 each, that's $1.65 million. Now, I'm going to gift you, I'm going to gift you 200 shares every month for your $2 contribution, right? So I'm not asking you to give for nothing. I'm willing to give back, right? And if FOUNDUPS is successful, then you can be successful. But understand, as a stakeholder of FOUNDUPS, you are mandated, okay, to reinvest 80% of your net profits. So if you put in that $1 and we return you $1.65 million, guess what? You have to take $1.32 million and invest it in launching FOUNDUPS around you, okay? You have to take $1.32 million and reinvest it in launching more FOUNDUPS. You still will make, 330,000, right? 330,000 in net profits for that $1. But do you see how FOUNDUPS work? We mandate that net profits from any activity of FOUNDUP to be redirected in launching more FOUNDUPS. This is what's known as an exponential growth function, right? An exponential growth function is actually what's destroying our planet because it's a flaw in our business model. And what happens is it becomes a tool for raping our planet, whereas I'm using it as a tool for saving it. It's a very subtle change, but it's an important one. And if we're going to save our planet, we better have a model that has an exponential growth function built into it. Because you know what? We don't have the time. We don't have the time, we don't have the resources or anything else to do it any other way, but with an exponential growth function. So, my name is Michael Trout. I appreciate you watching. Launch a FOUNDUP.